Please welcome to the lectern, Pierre.
I would like everybody in this room to quickly turn to your neighbors and look them straight in the eyes. Even if it makes you uncomfortable, just sit there for 1 moment. Now, raise your hand if you can see a reflection of yourself in your own neighbor. Go ahead, raise your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem with humanity today. The majority of you guys could not see yourself in your neighbor, just like the people out there. And that's why we suffer today. That's why innocent Africans had to toil on plantations for centuries. That's why Jews were sent to concentration camps in World War II. That's why 2 aircrafts crumbled 2 monumental towers in 2001. And that's why, in part, the reason we are in financial turmoil today, because we looked each other in the eyes and we said, no, you're not the same person as I am. Rather, we said, he was a black man, he was a white man, he was a Jew, he was a Muslim, or he was rich and powerful. That's why we suffer today. There are 2 reasons why we are unable to see our reflection in other people. Number 1 is that we don't understand that we are simply a bundle of habits walking around here. Number 2, we fail to realize how dependent we are on other people. We don't see our interdependence. A bundle of habits walking around. That's what we are. Our personalities, our educational levels, and how we see the world is based on it depends on the degree to which we have been layered through experiences, through habits, and through conditioned behaviors. That's what gives us distinction. The problem today is that we see the habits before we see human beings. We see a black man, we see a Jewish man, we see a gay man, or we see a Christian before we see human beings. But really, we are all the same people. When we came outside of our mother's wombs, we all were born with the same gray matter, breathing our first breath of fresh air. We were a bunch of empties. Thereafter, we formed our distinctions. What some people don't understand is that, I'll give you an analogy. Take 2 coins, for example. Let's take a quarter and a dime. Both coins are made out of the same substance, but the only thing that makes them different is that they have 2 different faces on them. And they come in different shapes and sizes. This difficulty of seeing a reflection of ourselves in other people, it also paralyzes us from seeing our dependence on one another. Just because you don't get something from someone else doesn't mean that you don't depend on other people. In spite of how independent we may think we are nothing short of interdependence. For example, let's take your journey before you came to Toastmasters meeting today. For those of you who practice good hygiene, you walked into your bathroom and you grabbed a bar of soap that was made by a Frenchman. And then you cloaked yourself in a towel that was made by somebody from Singapore. And then you grabbed some clothing and you suddenly looked at the tag in the back and it said that it was stitched together by somebody from China, a garment worker from China. And then you walked in this room today and you went over there and you grabbed a cup of coffee that was made by somebody from South America, Eastern, or Central Africa. Even before we leave this room today, we are going to be touched by almost the entire world in terms of material surroundings and even your material possessions, your cell phones, watches, glasses, anything that you hold in your pockets today. Someone once said that all people are caught up in an inescapable network of mutuality. All the knowledge that we hold in our brains today, all the ideas, we owe to both the living and the dead people. Remember, I believe it was Bruce came up to me this morning and he said, "John, where do you get your ideas from?" He said, "Well, it comes from the books I read, it comes from the music I listen to, and then it comes from Toastmasters members just like ourselves." The fact that we overlook or neglect our interconnectedness, our interdependence, it undermines our ability to see each other and other people. Fellow Toastmasters, we have blindly allowed the lenses through which we see other people to be fogged up by layers of habits that make us different. We do have our distinctions. However, we do have a lot in common. We are interrelated, interconnected, and interwoven through every element that binds this world. And even when we leave today, our garments will bleed with the scent of the whole universe. So, fellow Toastmasters, please turn to your neighbor once more and look them dead in the eyes. Don't be afraid. Now, after all that you have just heard, how many people can now see a reflection of themselves in their neighbor? That's a Toastmaster.